So let's begin. Crystalline activation. This presentation is brought to you by Pleiadian Institute. The crystalline activation process that we are going to move through today has 4 steps. The first step is a breathwork activation. The second step is to anchor into the crystalline grid. The third step is deep meditative immersion. And the fourth step is the rays of light activation. It's first important to understand that your crystalline light body surrounds your energetic body. And this picture isn't ideal because your crystalline light body actually, when fully activated, it surrounds your Merkaba field, which extends 50 feet out in all directions from your body. This picture gives you a visual, but that crystalline light body, this is more the image of it when you're shut down, when you've not activated your light body, your Merkaba field, when you're just an average person going through their day. We all have this crystalline light body. But once we activate our Merkaba field, the crystalline light body expands. So if you imagine right now 50 feet surrounding you, 50 feet to your left, to your right, above you and below you, it likely includes your whole home or a good portion of it. It may include your neighbors. It may include your animals, definitely your family. So this crystalline light body, when we activate this field around us, it is not just for us. We are activating this field for everyone that is in our vicinity, specifically 50 feet, surrounding us in all directions. And this is important as we set our intentions for working with our crystalline light body. We not only need to set personal intentions, but we can work with our activated crystalline light body and set intentions for our family, for our home, for our neighbors, for our communities. Our light body connects us to the crystalline grid of light. And this crystalline grid of light surrounds our entire planet and our solar system. The crystalline grid is an energetic field of light through which all is transmitted on the planet. So this field of light that surrounds our planet, it is magnetic. It is electromagnetic. It holds us in place, and it contains portals through which we can connect to a higher light. The term crystalline grid itself describes this electromagnetic field. When we activate our crystalline light body, it takes place through our attention, through our focused attention. So I want you to think of a candle in a dark room. And when you gaze at the flame of the candle, you can, for a few moments, shut everything else out around you, and you can really focus your attention on that light. Our activation requires that same level of focus. It also requires our connection with our breath. It is not just any breath, but it is deep, complete breath, breathing deeply into the cells of our bodies, breathing deeper and more fully than we've ever breathed before. That breath creates pathways in our bodies for the light to travel through. And with focused attention, your crystalline light body becomes a receiver of light from the cosmos. So the crystalline grid contains the portals that we are placing our attention on that is feeding our individual light bodies. As you breathe the light through your body, you become a conduit of the light. And with your sustained focus upon the light, you begin to become more and more aware of the rays of light that exist around you at all times. You become more aware of the subtle energies that exist around you at all times, and your intuition becomes stronger. Your focused attention upon the light also supports the cellular healing within your own body. In addition to this, your focus upon the light opens your intuitive mind and strengthens your connection with your crystals. It strengthens your ability to give and receive healing. This is the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu, which was 400 BC, before the dawn of our modern world. We had already an awareness in our spiritual leaders of this field and its power. And they didn't call it the crystalline light body, but they did describe it with clarity and beauty. Lao Tzu says, "Look, and it cannot be seen, so it is called invisible. Listen, it cannot be heard, so it is called soundless. Touch, and it cannot be caught, so it is called elusive. These three cannot be examined, so they unite into one." Here you see the Celtic Trinity knot, also called the triqueta. This Celtic Trinity knot teaches us of these three invisible forces. In Celtic spirituality, they honor the maiden, the mother, and the crone, which are the three stages that the woman progresses through in her lifetime, the stages that bring her to a place of wisdom and unity with the cosmos. Although those stages, you could maybe paint a picture of what each of them look like, but they are invisible. As we go through those stages, we're only able to see in retrospect what each stage looked like in our lives. And they're big. Think of that journey from the maiden to the mother to the crone. That's a lifetime's worth of work. And that wisdom comes together in the unseen vortex of light that exists at the center of all that is. Vyasa in the Mahabharata, which is one of the original Sanskrit texts that contains the Bhagavad Gita, which is the holy scripture of the Hindu religion, also 300 BC, also taught, what is here is found elsewhere. What is not here is nowhere, reminding us that this invisible field, this field of light, if we are able to see it anywhere, when we find it within ourselves, we are able to find it outside of us. And when we cannot find it within ourselves, we're not able to find it outside of us. And it is this central teaching that guides all of the work that we do. We're not looking for the light in the actual Milky Way. Like, we're not getting telescopes and looking out there for that light to try to find it. We're closing our eyes. We're going within. We're feeling into that light in our minds. And that's because that light is omnipresent, it's omniscient, and it's omnipotent. It is eternal. It shines forever. And we have access to it in every moment of every day. The crystalline grid then is present at all times. We choose to bring our attention to it. Through our attention, we open our bodies and minds to receive the light. Crystalline activation also prepares your body for DNA activation. So the crystalline activation process is part of the DNA activation process. It precedes DNA activation. The results are overlap with the results that we receive from DNA activation. The effects are deep cellular healing and a restructuring of your epigenome. As a reminder, your epigenome shapes all cellular expression in your body. It is the ecosystem for your cells, specifically a sheath of chemicals that surrounds every single cell in your body. And what we know is that scientifically, what has been clinically proven is when we spend extended periods of time in meditation with the light, we shape our epigenome. We can shape the way that our cells express. This process is so powerful because it not only affects you personally, but it shapes the field of energy that surrounds you and your cells. It's why all of us, when we go through these retreats and when we have these attunements in person, we're like, wow, this was life-changing for me. It was so profound, but it's hard to put into words what happens. It's because there's an invisible light that we are breathing through our bodies. It's shaping us spiritually, mentally, emotionally, but it's also creating cellular shifts. So we legitimately feel better. Like our bodies feel better subtly. And when we do this over and over and over and over again, there is a strength and a clarity that begins to happen instantly when we align with this light. The first part of this process is our breath work activation. You want to remember that your breath directs the light through your body. You activate specific patterns in your brain through breath work. The crystalline activation breath work process activates pathways for light to flow through your brain. This is a hypnotic process where we are literally retraining our brains to focus on the light. This activation results in heightened perception of the light in your waking life. The breathwork activation not only activates pathways in your brain, but it also increases energy flow throughout your entire body. It strengthens your respiratory system, your cardiovascular system. There are numerous physical benefits to this practice. All forms of breath work also increase mental clarity and focus. Breath work has been proven to improve mood and cognition, meaning literally the way that our brains are processing information. The breathwork activation process is deeply healing and rejuvenating all on its own. This breathwork activation process that you will move through by itself is transformative. We specifically are going to activate each of our chakras through our breath work, and we're also going to connect to our transpersonal chakras. These are the chakras that exist above our crown. We are going to breathe up into our transpersonal chakras. Those transpersonal chakras open the portal of light in our energy field that allows that light from the cosmos, the light of the crystalline grid, to flow into our bodies and minds. And as we do this, we are anchoring into the physical grid of our earth. And we do this because we are awakening our highest self. Our highest self is one with our light body. So as we activate our light body, we automatically activate our highest self, and we participate in the activation of the light body of Mother Earth. After an attunement, I always find a greater ease in my healthy habits, in my daily positive habits. And what I know for sure is that the suffering and the pain that so many people on earth are going through right now, the work that we do when we are alone, when we are in these groups together, when we are breathing this light through our body, even though nobody else is seeing it, it is sending ripples, waves of energy out that is affecting the light body of Mother Earth, that is supporting the activation of others' light bodies, which ultimately I like to think, even though I might not be able to help right now in all the places on earth that I want to help, what I can do is I can strengthen the collective light body of Mother Earth, so that I simultaneously, as I'm feeding myself with the light, I am feeding our earth with light, giving others the strength, the courage, the wisdom, and the clarity that they need to step up and help those people on earth who are in the greatest need. When you activate your light body in this way in meditation, it becomes easier. Everything becomes easier. Stepping into your highest self becomes easier. It also becomes easier to exist in the light that is flowing through the crystalline grid. Crystalline consciousness speaks through many forms. It speaks through the elements, through wind, through fire, through water, and through ether. It is also present within and speaks through plants and minerals. This consciousness that is alive in the crystalline grid also exists in every living thing. There is this light of the Christ that existed before all things. It is that benevolent force of light that's not religious. Instead, it is ubiquitous. It exists everywhere all at once, and it gives life to all things. So what we learn in the teachings of the universal Christ is that Christ light is present in the crystalline grid. It's present in our earth, in our crystals. It's present in every living thing. And it is that Christ light that we are anchoring into when we anchor into the crystalline grid. And what this teaches us is where there is form, there is intelligence. So there is no one in our lives that is not alive with that light within them. There is no thing within our lives, even the people that we see as evil, even the people that we see as creating war and pain and suffering for others, they have this light within them as well. And where this intelligence exists, there is life. That life is fed through the light. And as we strengthen this light in our own minds, we strengthen it across the United States, which we need right now. We all know we need more so than any other time that I've been alive. This light strengthens. It strengthens across our entire planet, and it anchors into the hearts and the minds of those people who are ready to receive it, whether they know that it's happening or not. We're consciously doing this work. Like we're in meditation, opening to the light, because that's what we're called to do as light workers. But there's millions of more people on this planet they don't want to consciously work with the light, but they do want the peace that the light brings on our earth. And so it's important to realize this bigger energy that we are supporting as we do this work. Anchoring into the crystalline grid in meditation for sustained periods of time recharges our ability to do light work. It also develops our relationship with our crystals. It helps us to translate that language, that vibrational language that our crystals are speaking. The third step in this crystalline activation process is our deep meditative immersion. And inside of our attunements, we work with the golden orb. You're also going to be encouraged to work with the golden orb through a daily mindful meditation practice and as you plan with spirit for your meditation time. The habits for working with the golden orb begin with our plan. So when we plan, today I am here to align with the light. I'm going to align with the light of the golden orb. And we practice how to do that in our attunement space. That is the first step. Then we work with our breath. Our breath anchors our spirit, our mind, and our body into the light. So that deep, rhythmic breath anchors the light of the golden orb into our bodies. When we're in our attunement space, you're going to be given an assignment, a homework assignment, which will be to connect with the golden orb at least 3 times a day for the next 3 days. And we do this anchoring through our breath into the light of the golden orb as a meditative practice, as a practice of immersing ourselves in the light through our attention to the golden orb. That golden orb breath work is number 3 on this list. So I gave you number 3 first. So our crystalline meditation practice then, 3 steps: golden orb breath work, mindfulness meditation, and galactic heart breathing. The galactic heart breathing practice connects us through a toric field of light to all other beings on earth. It is a way to allow our personal meditative time to be a conduit for supporting the healing of our planet. And finally, we have our mindfulness meditation practice, which is seeing through the eyes of God, feeling the strength of a mountain, the freshness of a flower, the stillness of water, and the freedom of space inside of our daily life. I'm going to share this practice with you. You'll also be able to return to this practice. This practice grounds you into the crystalline grid because it helps you to connect in meditation with the earth through your breath, bringing the qualities of the earth into your physical body, which helps you to ground yourself in light into the crystalline grid. I invite you to breathe in and out with me. Breathing in, my breath goes deep. Breathing out, my breath goes slow. Deep, slow. Breathing in, I feel calm. Breathing out, I feel ease. Calm, ease. Breathing in, I smile. Breathing out, I release. Smile and release. Breathing in, I see myself as a flower. Breathing out, I feel fresh. Flower, fresh. Breathing in, I see myself as a mountain. Breathing out, I feel solid. Mountain, solid. Breathing in, I see myself as still water. Breathing out, I reflect all that means. Still water, reflecting all that means. Breathing in, I see myself as space. Breathing out, I feel free. Breathing in, space. Breathing out, free. Breathing in, I feel safe, respected, and seen. Breathing out, I feel free. Safe, free. Breathing in, I feel safe. Breathing out, I share from the totality of my being. Safe and free. Breathing in, I release all attachment. Breathing out, I bring my full, complete self to this moment. Breathing in, I release all thoughts, and I bring my attention back here now. Breathing out, I'm cultivating spaciousness, clarity, and inner freedom. I am present. I am spacious. I am free. And through that breath, we activate together to the rays of light. The rays of light flow through the great central sun down to the earth, and the star systems of the Pleiades, Sirius, and Arcturus act as conduits of this light. So when we tune into the light of the Pleiades, the light of Sirius, the light of Arcturus, we align with the light of the great central sun. This light also activates each of our chakra centers. So we specifically focus on our Muladhara, our Svatisthana, our Manipura, our Anahata, our Vishuddha, Ajna, and Sahasrara. We focus on breathing the light through those centers, through those chakra centers. We activate those chakra centers through the light. But those chakra centers also exist without us consciously activating them. And when we bring our attention to that great central sun, to that source of light, it will also activate our chakra centers, whether or not we're aware of it or not. And I created this little image which does the job right now, which helps us to understand this connection between the light, our chakras, our human experience, and our highest self. So you want to think of the earth is where we're physically residing. That is the home of our human consciousness. We'll call that our 3D consciousness. That's where we see the problems of the world. That's where we see all that is real and tangible and has a physical form. But then we have our attention to sacred geometric forms, specifically the star tetrahedron in our activation process. Our attention to our breath and our attention to the light forms a bridge. And this is the bridge to our highest self. Think of each step that you take and imagine if you were a baby who had never taken steps before. Imagine the amount of focus, dedication, and times that you fall down and have to get back up again that it takes to walk as a baby. And I want you to think of this journey up to your highest self. It is the journey from your spiritual birth into your ascended expression of light on earth. That is your highest self. And it's very much a journey from being a baby in awareness. To walk this bridge, it looks easier here than it is in real life. It's more like the process of walking as a child. It's inevitable that every child walks. So we trust it. But at the same time, they need a formula. They need people around them to support them. They need someone who they can place their attention on that is inviting them to walk. They need that breath within them to sustain them. And if you think of the journey of a baby, they're embodied in the simple functions of their body. That breath, every step takes up all of their energy. They're not walking and reading a book. They're not walking and talking. 100% of their energy is just focused on the basics. Each step. It's the same level of dedication that it takes us to embody the rays of light. And when we embody the rays of light, we effortlessly step into our highest self. And it's this bridge that we are walking on now through our attunements that leads us there. The rays of light also manifest as colors and healing properties in our minerals and plants. Spiritually, the 7 rays represent the fundamental law of 7. This is a law of cosmic action and organization. So when I say trust it, like you can trust walking. It's just a human law. We all are here on earth. That is a natural instinct. An expression that we all have is to walk. Well, the same is true for embodying the light of the 7 rays. Once we set out on this path, there is a law of cosmic action that takes place. It's almost like a gravitational pull that's opposite. It's not pulling us towards the earth, it's pulling us towards that great central sun. And when we put our attention on that great central sun, on that light, there is an inevitable ease that happens. Once the child learns to walk, now they start walking everywhere. There's an excitement once you learn that process. And I find the same thing with the rays of light. Once I learn to connect with the rays of light, I want to breathe those rays of light through my body and connect with them throughout my entire day. When I'm on my errands, when I wake up in the morning to make breakfast, when I clean my house, when I cook my food, not just in my healing work, but in every part of my life now, I am expressing those rays of light through my body and mind. These 7 rays present 7 paths to our individual alignment with the Christ light, also called Christhood. So there's a way that we become one with the light of Christ. And the journey takes place through the rays. Attunement to the rays occurs through our attention, through our breath work, through our meditation, and through the energy healing and hypnosis process that we move through in our attunements. This activation of the rays and the crystalline activation, or activation of our crystalline light body, is part of DNA activation and attunement. It is step one. Before we activate our DNA, we activate our crystalline light bodies. And we do this through focus on the tetrahedron. The tetrahedron pictured here, which is the upward pointing triangle and the downward pointing triangle. The tetrahedron is actually a three-dimensional shape, so we see it as it spins. That is the star tetrahedron, is the three-dimensional sacred geometric form that is the tetrahedron spinning. That spinning tetrahedron is the sacred geometric form that leads us into embodying the light. And there's a correlation between the sacred geometric forms and high vibrational frequencies of thought, of feeling, of action. All of that is the law of nature. You cannot change it. The tetrahedron then is multi-dimensional. It affects us mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and it invites us into alignment. Our specific framework that the crystalline light body activation takes place within is called the DNA framework. This part of the framework that we are working with today is our attunement to the rays. And our attunement to the rays happens through our focus on the sacred geometric form of the star tetrahedron and through meditation, hypnosis, energy healing, and breath work. Specifically, we're working with the light of the 7 rays, and we use hypnosis as a tool to help us to align with the sacred geometry of the rays. We use our breath work as a tool to focus our attention on the light of the 7 rays. And we use energy healing as a tool to open to the sounds of the rays as they express through the words that we use to describe them and through the silence, because the silence itself that we connect with in meditation emits a sound within your inner ear. You may hear guidance when you are working with your crystals, not spoken out loud like a voice coming down from the heavens, but instead in the stillness of your mind. This entire practice then takes place through your attention. The activation of your crystalline light body happens through your attention. And I like to compare it to working out. When you dedicate your life to strengthening all of the major and minor muscle groups in your body, over time, you start to develop this strength in your body it's indestructible, this strength that you feel when you are engaged in a regular exercise routine that includes strength training. So when you physically are focused on those muscles become stronger and they support you in every aspect of your life. But when you just do a push-up here or there, or you do it for a month and then you stop for 6 months, that indestructible strength never comes. The difference between, I've done it before, and I've committed my daily routine to this practice is night and day. So we're worlds apart from just experiencing the crystalline activation once and dedicating yourself to it like it is your life's work. And that is the journey that we are taking together. We're learning these daily practices.